is that when you go after and criticize Lue Elizondo, he doesn't come after you directly. Instead, he's got some very secondary ways to get at you and to strike back, but he's very vindictive and he will come after you.
Have you experienced that, Manny?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Since my documentary, in fact, it was within hours of the documentary coming out that I started to experience that. And it's been nonstop since. And we can get into that. What's that?
In what way?
So before the documentary even came out and during the live premiere of it, there was a group of people. One of the shows of clips that I used was a show called Tom Fessler. And the reason I used the clips and fair used them was because Elizondo was on there saying some very revelatory things that he had not said anywhere else. And so in order to speak and to comment about them and to show people in the film what I was talking about, I needed to use those clips. This show had informed me that they would not let me use their clips. They were going to file copyright strikes against my channel to get the film taken down.
I mean, I work closely with Lue. When Lue Elizondo got attacked by Area 503, I was the only person who stood up against Manny from Area 503. I even reached out to Lou Jimenez. He refused. I did copyright strikes, and then I worked with James Fox and others to get additional copyright strikes to get that shit taken down.
And that they were going to do everything in their power to stop me from speaking this truth that I had or putting this show out. So when the live premiere was going on, they came into my chat channel and were just flooding the chat with attacks and vitriol, saying that I was doxing Lou, that I was attacking his family, that I was going after his wife and his kids, things like that were just ridiculous and weren't even a part of the film at all. But just straight up trying to attack me. Within a week of the film being out, I've got copyright strikes on the film by this Tom Fessler character, the History Channel of all people, for using like a still frame from one of the unidentified programs when I was talking about Lou's involvement with the show. And then to the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. All three of them tried to copyright strike it to get it taken down and crowd strike me and try to get me permanently banned off of YouTube. And they succeeded in taking the film down for close to a month while I fought the copyright strikes and gave them my personal information and said, look, if you want to sue me in a civil court over copyright infringement, go right ahead. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to assert fair use. And under my understanding of the law, I'm going to win. So here's all my information. Do what you will with it. But you need to take these strikes off. Ultimately, that's ended up what happening. YouTube sided with me after about a month, put the movie back online. But during that time, somehow three people got my personal information, Tom Fessler, the History Channel, and To the Stars Academy. And all of a sudden, this guy, Tom Fessler, and his producer on their live stream are talking about my real name, my address, my girlfriend, where I live, where my mother lives.
Until Thomas Fessler obtained my name in a legal document, my name had never been on the internet. And now it's being spread everywhere. For your karma, Lou.
But I do find it interesting that in 7 or 8 years, nobody ever doxed me, nobody ever found me. And just a few weeks after I had to give legal papers to YouTube to a false copyright claim, who's buddies with some of these assholes, suddenly everybody's got all my personal information, my home address and everything. It's great.
Huh. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I saw that too. They did, they use these systems to get our information, that was not very cool of this person.
And Lue Elizondo was on that talk show.
Exactly what they claimed you did. They're doxing you.
100%. 100% doxing me, going after and fabricating things about me to defame me and even worse. And then go back to where before they got that information, the 72 hours after Who's Lou had been released, Lue Elizondo's on the Tom Fessler show answering questions about my show. They're like, let me ask you some questions. Like one of the questions I asked was where and when did he and his wife get married? Because I couldn't find a marriage record or certificate. Pretty mundane question, pretty simple question. It's not an attack. It's just like, were you guys married and when, But he was on there asking them, and he spent 10 minutes answering questions. And then at the end of it, he just goes on and he riles them up. He's like, you guys are my wolf pack. You guys, I'm looking over at my side. You guys, I'm glad that you're here defending me and fighting for me.
Conversation. You're the reason why people, not you guys, but those are the type of people, the reasons why people never took this topic seriously to begin with. Because when you said UFO, that's what you thought of. You thought of some dude in a basement at 35 years old sitting in his Just to the point. Well, appreciate it, guys. But remember, back to Rudyard Kipling, right? The strength
Yeah.
of the wolf is a pack. I can only do what I'm doing because
Yeah.
you guys are doing what you're doing, and your audience is doing what they're doing. So thank you for all, and this is a team effort. And I look to my shoulder right and left, and I see all of you. So thank you for being
Absolutely.
along, for on this journey.
We just wanted you to
Right
know that
on.
the pack has your back too.
Oh yeah.
10-4, appreciate it, Rob, more than you know. It really, it helped.
And that sparked a online frenzy of people centered around this group, Tom Fessler and his producer Rob Heatherly, who they called the Wolf Pack, and they just started coming after me.
Manny,
Together and support this great man and what he's doing. There's some real haters out there. There's some people, who's, it was over on Rich Giordano over at GoofOn last night, and he was going, and they've been nothing but
This process to go forward, you kind of need to put a little pressure on the people that are hampering this conversation from moving forward further in the public arena. Well, they're sitting behind a keyboard, anonymity
in their mom's
but
house,
Right.
probably.
that doesn't last forever with with that, and they motivate some people, and Lou is not going to take any action, but I dare say that there are people that will find the motivation on their own cognizance to bring him. So if you guys want to see more Lou interviews out there more often or at all, I suggest you guys take a position on this, be part of the solution, not part of the problem, and put some pressure on these people to get them to stop. I don't want to say much more because I don't want to incriminate myself.
This is a team effort, and I look to my shoulder right and left, and I see all of you. So thank you for being along, for on this journey.
We just wanted you to know that the pack has your back too.
Oh yeah.
10-4, appreciate it, Rob, more than you know. It really, it helped.
Yeah, so it started when the film first came out, but it does continue to this day. There's organized groups out there of people that are championing for Lue Elizondo on social media, and if you question his narrative, then they go out and they take it upon themselves to try to gang bully, gang stalk, and harass you into silence to create this echo chamber, specifically on UFO Twitter. It's something that's become real apparent in the last few months. People are really starting to become wise to it. And I've called it out kind of since day one. And a lot of times people will gaslight me and they're like, oh, you're just being paranoid. Like there's no group of people out there. And it's come to light that, yeah, there is. There's actual groups of people who have Discord servers and Facebook groups who do this. And I've pointed out also that Elizondo is well aware of it. He's been made aware of it.
I have texted Lou. I've told him about KMF. He still doesn't unfollow him. That bugs me. Right. Yeah, it is strange. And like, look, like, you're not the only one who's noticed that, right? Which hopefully makes you feel a bit better, RFK. Like I've had conversations with some like really influential UFO people who aren't going to say shit publicly, but absolutely find it disturbing that Lue Elizondo still follows KMF.
And that he not only turns a blind eye to the behavior because it benefits him, but that in some cases he actively encourages it and encourages these people and reinforces the behavior by following them on social media, liking the posts and things like that.
There was one point where Lou contacted me and said, hey, I heard that this guy King Milkfart turned against me. Is this true? Because he thought it was another supporter that had turned on him. And I looked into it for him and I said, no, the actual King Milkfart is still supporting you. There was somebody else impersonating him that wasn't supporting you, obviously.
And using his own confirmed sock puppet accounts, which is something that he's been caught doing multiple times, creating a sock puppet account, which I don't know if people know what those are. It's just it's a fake account that's not linked to his own personal account, his official account, but he uses that to interact with people. And that's where that name Faceless Bureaucrat that we spoke about earlier came out, is that was the name of one of his sock puppet accounts that he used for years. And he would use that to encourage people to go out and dox and harass critics. And
the attacks were constant, nonstop, and often involved my family, my kids, and my wife. People contacted my employer and attempted to get me fired. Others contacted DISA and attempted to get my security clearance revoked. It was an onslaught of hate. Pure, unadulterated hate. I was drowning and I couldn't catch my breath. My personal number was leaked on Reddit. I received death threats and filed reports with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police. To this day, I am targeted by fanatics or those who have.
You know, some of the things that people have experienced, and it's not just me. There are other people out there who have been the targets of these people, and it's been horrific. I've seen, you know, people's immediate family members, their grandparents, their wives, their children, their minor children gone after, where people post pictures of somebody's, you know, child in their school and is like, oh, how's so-and-so doing? Or name the mascot of their school as a veiled way to try to intimidate someone into not questioning Elizondo. And it's really kind of perplexing, you know, because you don't really see that in ufology too often. I mean, like I try to go back and think about people disagreeing about Bob Lazar 6 or 7 years ago, and somebody getting doxxed and harassed over, you know, whether they believe Bob Lazar's story or they don't. And they might argue over it, but you wouldn't see the level of venom that you're seeing in it nowadays, where if you disagree with this agenda or this narrative that Elizondo's trying to sell, that you must be canceled, and any ends justify the means. They'll create evidence against you if they have none. They'll fabricate stories if they have none, and they'll just spread it, you know, all around until people believe it and don't want to talk to you. I wouldn't be surprised.
Jesus, sounds like this election cycle.
Right. It could be worse. It could be, you know, like, honestly, at this point, I'd almost rather talk about politics because it seems safer than ufology with some of these people, you know, like, and that's kind of a weird thing to say, you know, but, you know,
Let
that's
me
kind of where we're
interject
at.
this, man.